Yes.
Good morning, everybody, or is it afternoon where you are? Um, lots of time scales we can see from our participants. So you are very welcome to join us to celebrate International Women's Day 2025. Thank you very much indeed. I'd like to make sure we introduce all of our trustees and global strategic leaders here. There's only one who couldn't come, which is Nancy. And I want to say a big thank you to Nancy for creating the PowerPoint for us as her contribution. Thank you very much. Would you like to introduce yourselves, please? And we'll start with Lisa.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Hanna. I'm right now just out of bed at 5 a.m. in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I have one thing to say: your existence is resistance. Hope you enjoy this morning.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm Vivian Porritt and I'm from England. Kezia?
Hello. Welcome to International Women's Day, or as it's also known, International. When is it Men's Day? Day. So enjoy today. If they cared, they could Google it. I'm currently sitting in the West Midlands in England.
Liz?
Hello, Switzerland calling. I was actually just on the balcony because I was going to show you the mountains, but then the Föhn came across, which is the wind from Italy. That didn't work. Anyway, Switzerland calling. Good to see everybody, and I'm really hopeful this International Women's Day. I know we've done many of them, but I'm hopeful that this year we'll see things move a little faster. But we'll talk more about that later.
Thank you. Olivia?
Hello, I'm Olivia Shaw. I'm one of the new trustees, really enjoying my inclusion in this organisation. I am in South London and I'm overlooking sunshine, but it is a bit chilly here and I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you. And I'd just like to introduce Maggie, who's going to join us a little bit later on to talk about one of our new opportunities. Christella?
Hi, tuning in from sunny London. I'm here with the rest of the team to not only accelerate action, but to continue to disrupt. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. And Tasha?
Hi everyone, so Natasha Hilton here from Qatar. It's starting to warm up over here and super excited about getting some students involved for International Women's Day this year.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. And it's great to have everyone here and missing Nancy in that way. What we'd really love everybody to do is get as engaged as possible today. So flood us with reactions to things that people are talking about or sharing. Lots and lots of comments in the chat, please. And we'll give you lots of opportunities to add specific things in the chat. It's going to be fast and furious, so let's get on with it. And I'm going to share the PowerPoint now. That's the screen. Where's the oh God, why does it always do this to me? Ah, excuse me a moment. Sorry. Not letting me do anything. Right. It's not letting me do it.
It's almost like every single International Women's Day we are cursed by the sort of the Luddite women that have gone before us that are like, no, you shall not be able to share your PowerPoint with the rest of the world on this important day.
I know. Some of you have got it. Can any of you grab hold of it and maybe you can share?
Yeah, just
'Cause
make us a host, Vivian.
Pardon?
Make us hosts, co-hosts.
Well, you should be. It says I've shared it with you. I'm ever so sorry, everybody. Don't know why it's...
Have I been able to share?
Yes, you can. You have the power, Kezia. Look at you.
Oh, you're a wonderful person, Kezia. Can you just make it into presentation mode?
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much indeed.
Right. Just keep telling me when to move the slide on and I will.
I will, assistant, lovely assistant. Thank you. We're focusing on the United Nations for Women theme this year, rights, equality and empowerment for all women and girls. And we really want you to think about how you can actively support and mentor other women in education. So let's get sharing in the chat how you want to do that and how you are going to do that. If you could move it along for me, Kezia. A reminder for people who may not know about Women Ed that this is our mission, so that women in education have the choice to progress on their leadership journey. We share a lot of stats in all of our social media, how women are underrepresented as leaders in education, and how diverse women or women with a marginalised background are even more marginalised in terms of leadership. So these are key issues for us to work on. And we'd love it for you to be sharing how you are making a difference in this way. Thank you, Kezia. Is it moving on? No? Oh, that's gone too far. Thank you, Natasha.
You're going to have
back.
to tell me which slide you want me to land
Go
on.
back. I'll tell you. Go back. There, that one. Oh, was that one?
Vivian, you can tell it's a Saturday.
So forward again, Kezia. And one more. That's it. Thank you. Now this video is not going to work, is it now then? Oh, here we go. Sound. This, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not letting me put the sound on. Right, we'll just have to move it on. Won't let me put the sound on. Can you move it on, Kezia?
Yep, that's moved on.
Not on the screen, it hasn't.
Right.
So keep reading things out from the chat, colleagues. As a reminder that in Canada, where 75% of women are represented, should be 75% leaders. But we don't look like that, do we? Have we lost the PowerPoint now then? We have.
I'll see if I can find it again.
I just need it for the breakout rooms. One of the last part of the video was for Malala speaking to us about her journey, obviously, and the inspirational work she's done. So before we try and find the PowerPoint again, Olivia, you're going to talk to us about your girls.
Yeah, so I want to talk about my hopes and dreams for all our girls. I want our girls to live unapologetically, to have a childhood filled with safety, peace, joy, love, respect, and laughter. I want our girls to access clothes, books, and toys that are not advertised through a reductive, stereotypical lens. They play with fire engines, they play with dolls, they play with telescopes, and that is seen as alignment. As a child myself in the 70s and 80s, there's a picture of me when I'm 5 years old with a white cardigan and a white skirt, and I'm wearing an Action Man t-shirt, and I'm carrying a little red car, I think maybe a Ford Cortina. So I was raised not through a gender lens, but through a lens of individuality, and I want that for all our girls. My hope is that every girl is able to access a high quality education with a curriculum where they are seen, that they sit in their science lessons and their maths lessons, and they feel like they belong and they feel confident. And ideally, in those maths lessons, that is the beginning of their journey towards financial independence as well. As part of my school celebration for International Women's Day, I arranged a poetry competition that was just for the girls, and they had to write about how great it was to be a girl. And I got some wonderful entries, but also in some of those verses, they talked to me about feeling that their opportunities were restricted and feeling that they had to think about their personal safety more than boys. And I would not want that to be their future. I want our girls to have the freedom to take up space with their ideas, their thoughts, and their feelings, and for them to be free from a dynamic of dominance. In my school, our Year 6 girls, who are around 10 or 11, approached me and said, we really want to play football, miss, but we feel intimidated when we're on the football pitch. And it wasn't enough for me to say, you are allowed to play football. I had to adapt the environment to ensure that equity was taking place. And I think that's part of what we need to do, adapt that environment, because having permission isn't always enough. And so we have in place a timetable where girls have a day where they just play football and they enjoy it and they get that opportunity. I want every girl to feel listened to and heard. And I would like every girl to have the chance to develop the tools to create and sustain nurturing friendships, for them to understand and appreciate that friendships support their resilience. I want every girl to have a cheerleader, someone who is in their corner, providing reassurance and encouragement unconditionally. I want every girl to be the author of their own narrative. I don't want to write it for them. They write it for themselves. I want them to be able to be shy and quiet at times and to be respected in terms of individuality, not gender. Not to be prescribed a pink world, to determine the colours that decorate their own world. I want them to feel free to fail with grace, to take risks in their learning, and for success and its value to be independently and individually defined, for physical strength not to determine power, for a girl's self-worth not to be measured in units of beauty determined by physical appearance, but for self-worth to be measured in units of spirit and character. I want every girl to see the leader within themselves and to see their own potential, to understand that they are not one thing, but multifaceted, unique, and special. For their childhood to be filled with positive role models. Safety, peace, joy, love, respect, and laughter. This is what I wish for my daughter and for every girl. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Olivia. That's wonderful, wonderful. And we're looking forward to what you're going to do with your girls when we head towards our 10th birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kezia. We seem to be having a problem with the chat. I have set it up for everyone to be able to talk to everyone, but they don't seem to be. So please have a go and see if that's still working. Because what we really want to know now is the impact of Women Ed in our stories. And Lisa's going to be asking people to put that in the chat. And if not, Lisa, we'll see if we can give people the chance to speak. Over to you, Lisa.
All right, we have been practicing in the chat, but at this time, we want you to think about the impact Women Ed's had on your personal journey as a leader, your professional journey as a leader, and start flooding the chat with some descriptions of some of that impact. Natasha has shared, I scroll up, that she's going to be getting students in her school together to set up a working party or mentors and mentees to support them to navigate their own personal journeys. And I know that that's key for Women Ed, is women lifting other women up that ladder to that soon to be shattered glass ceiling, often described as a concrete ceiling for women of color or women who don't have the entire world written in their own perspective, women that live outside of the margins. It's much harder for women who are disabled, women of color, women of different sexual orientation to get up that ladder and get through that ceiling. I'm still not seeing much in the chat. So if you're able to pop in and tell us about the impact of Women Ed, we would be very appreciative of hearing your stories.
I'm just gonna sort of come in there if that's all right. It could be that people are just thinking, oh, because if you're in sort of Europe, it feels quite early. I think if you're in the Americas, it's really early. So it could be that people are building up to write us a blog, which would be absolutely lovely. Last weekend, I had the privilege of attending the Step Up Network, and I went along to Kieran Satie's presentation. She was talking about Beyond Barbie, and as you know, she has written a chapter in the most recent Women Ed book, Disruptive Women, and she was talking about the impact it's had on her young people, that she is building or supporting young people to articulate their dreams for the future. And I think that is wonderful. And I think sometimes, particularly as educators, we work so hard for our young people that sometimes we forget ourselves, and we also forget our colleagues, and things are pretty tough. And as everyone's mentioned, it's Women Ed is 10 years old this year, and we've got to make sure that we accelerate rather than slip backwards, because I know in lots of places around the world things seem to be slipping backwards. So on this day, as you're thinking about your stories, let's think about what we can do for our young people, our children, either our sort of the actual children maybe we share a family with, but also those that we work with, but also remember our colleagues. That was really lovely what you shared, Olivia, and if people are unable to come into the chat, if you fancy writing us a little blog, then we'll make you a star.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to pick on some people then, and make sure I ask them to unmute. Helena, can you unmute and tell us what Women Ed has done for you?
literally only just got in the room, Vivian. That's really put me on the spot.
There you go. Get going.
Oh, that's a very big question. I think it's given me the opportunity to amplify lots of women's voices and create a safe space to be able to have the kind of conversations about things that I think many of us, myself included, sort of ruminate on and think, oh, it's just me and maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe it's all about choice. But actually, I think creating the campaigns and being part of the early stages of Women Ed and then continuing to champion it, I think, it's just having that real strength in community.
Thank you, Helena. Thank you. And we're still so thrilled that you were there with us at the beginning in the way, and you set up the tea party that got everything going. So that's wonderful. Thank you. Katie Ridgway, can I unmute you? Or you do it yourself?
Absolutely can. I also have only just joined as well. We had a little bit of technical issues getting in, but yes, I'm here.
What has Women Ed done for you, Katie?
Again, it's a really big question, like Helena said, because it has done so much. When I think back over the many years now that I've been involved with Women Ed, I actually just posted onto my LinkedIn, because on my memories it came up one of the events that was held at Sunderland University, where I met Sarah Mullins, and I think for me, Women Ed is about connections. I've been able to meet so many amazing, strong, brave, impactful women, and the sort of connections that I've been able to build have been really influential. I went on to contribute a chapter to Sarah's book, so the connections are just so fruitful and so wonderful to hear about.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. I hope people are trying to put the chat in, because Liz seems to think it's working. I'll ask one more person if that's all right. Push Pilata, can I unmute you?
Hi, yes, Vivian, thank you for asking. As you are aware that Women Ed, I'm an advocate for women's leadership, and so being on my union's leadership committee, I was very fortunate to invite you to talk to all the leadership people, and it was a good thing because I think Women Ed helps us all to network, and it's easy to have lots of people on your LinkedIn and things, but networking and face-to-face meetings helps a lot, and I think that's what is important: connections and networks.
Thank you, and it's lovely to see you joining us today. Much appreciated. Can I go to Maggie now then?
Yes, you can, Vivian.
Please do share a new opportunity that we have that is for colleagues in England because of the apprenticeship levy.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll just start by saying what Women Ed has done for me. And I think it's really easy to kind of underestimate the impact that being part of this wonderful, amazing group of women has had. But I think what it enabled me to do initially was not feel lonely as a woman leader. And I'd worked in some really difficult places where women's voices weren't really heard. And it was when I first heard about Women Ed and 10% Braver, it was my living minute by minute mantra. If I was going to be 10% braver, what would this look like? And I've shared that with so many other women colleagues and helped them have a voice. So yeah, I can't thank you enough. It literally changed my professional and personal life. But onto the opportunity. So CVP Group and Women Ed have joined together to offer a coaching apprenticeship, level 5 professional coaching apprenticeship. And I'm here to talk about it because I've completed it in December. It is just such an amazing opportunity. It's funded through the apprenticeship levy, and I'd really encourage people to do it. And I thought I knew a lot about coaching, but what I loved about this apprenticeship is it's so practical. So you're working through, the learning bits whilst also putting it into practice in your own organisation. And I used it to enable me to coach women in my organisation, not only leaders, but those who were, you know, young women who are just, you know, full of self-doubt, because we always are. It was just amazing. And from that, I've been able to start to build a kind of coaching organisation, if you like, company that is about coaching women only. So I will put the link for the CVP apprenticeship in the chat, as well as Vivian, is someone else going to talk about the coaching opportunity?
Just want to highlight it in the blog itself.
Okay,
so,
okay. I've got Yasmin sent me the link for both of those, so I'll just pop those in the chat.
Yes,
anybody
thank you.
in the UK, I absolutely do the apprenticeship. It's just so worthwhile.
And Helena is backing you up there. She's part of that apprenticeship and she's found it transformational and would definitely recommend. And I wish we could open it out beyond England. We can do that, but there's a fee for it, whereas in England, the apprenticeship levy makes it free. Thank you. People are able to put things in the chat now, Lisa, so we'll give you a little bit of time to read some of those and maybe pick some to be able to add to that as we move forward. Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated with the tech stuff. Christella, you're going to share your views on our values.
Thank you, Vivian. Well, as you can see on the screen, Women Ed have 8 values. They serve as powerful tools for empowering women in education and leadership. So how do they empower us to accelerate action? First one I've picked is clarity. At Women Ed, we have a clear vision of our goals and values that align with our purpose. This affords us the opportunity to make well-informed decisions and advocate for ourselves, because such clarity eliminates self-doubt and helps women navigate the challenges with great confidence. Communication gives us the ability to express our ideas, our concerns, and our aspirations effectively. This is a crucial tool for women in leadership because strong communication skills enable us to challenge biases, share our expertise, and influence positive change within not only our communities, but also in our workplace. Through connection, we build meaningful relationships with other women, with other allies, and we foster mutual support, mentorship, growth through connection like coaching. We combat isolation, providing us as women with networks that uplift and inspire us. And on more than one occasion, I've tapped into those networks. Confidence is all about self-belief. I think it's essential for us as women and for our professional growth. It enables us to step into leadership roles, to take risks, and more so to advocate for not only ourselves, but for others too. And collaboration, well, together it strengthens our collective impact as women. Collaboration not only strengthens this impact, but it also promotes this shared learning. It amplifies our voices as women. More innovative and inclusive solutions can be adhered to in our education, in the education of those that we are exposed to and beyond. Through community, we have a strong sense of support through Women Ed. It encourages us to share our experiences, both good and other. We celebrate achievements and actually we overcome our challenges together. It creates a safe space for growth, enables us to reflect, and actually helps us to take action. This is where our disruption takes place. Challenge. Well, empowerment comes from challenging the stereotypes we've discussed, the biases, the systematic barriers that limit women's opportunities. And by pushing those boundaries, perhaps continually, and questioning that status quo, Women Ed can drive a meaningful change. And that change is about growth and progress coming from the embracing push of all of us united together. We lead change, we inspire others, we create a more inclusive and equitable space for future generations, and we invite you to join that disruption. Because by embodying these values, we believe we gain the tools and the mindset to lead, to influence, to transform the world around us. These principles encourage that resilience, that ambition and commitment to creating a more equitable society. These values empower us to rise and to transform the spaces we occupy. Together, we're redefining leadership, and actually we're breaking those barriers for women. I think we've got this. What do you all think?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Christella. We have got this. We've just got a big job to do, haven't we? Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Can you move us on, Kezia? Thank you. And over to Liz to talk through our campaigns.
Vivian, I'm going to go rogue. At the beginning of the session, sadly, we had some technical problems. And I know a lot of people, actually nobody was in right at the beginning. And Olivia, I was listening to what you were saying about your aspirations for your own daughter and for the girls in your care. And it really connects to what we aspire for our own profession. So if it's okay with you, Olivia, would you be all right to read what you said again so everyone can hear it? And then I'll build on that and how that fits within our aspirations for the profession.
So do we have time to do that?
We can make time.
Oh, so maybe I will share highlights so that it doesn't take up too much of the time. Let me share some highlights. So I was looking at how I wanted our girls to feel unapologetic. So not to feel that they had to apologize for being who they are, and that they had childhoods that were filled with safety, peace, joy, love, and respect. And I talked about things like access to clothes, books, and toys, for that not to sit within a lens that's reductive or stereotypical, for them to play with fire engines, dolls, and telescopes, and for that to be okay. I talked about a high quality education, that every girl should have access to that. And within that curriculum, they should be seen there. So when they sit in mathematics lessons and science lessons, they sit there and feel they belong there, and they work with confidence. I also talked about how maths lessons should be the start of a girl's journey to financial independence. I talked about the poetry competition I ran that was just for girls, and they spoke about how great it was to be a girl. And I had lots of wonderful entries, children talking about their pride and joy about being a girl, but also, unfortunately, they talked about the restrictions in opportunity and their concerns around their own personal safety. And for girls that are under 11 years old, that isn't how it should be. I talked about how girls should be free to take up space with their ideas, thoughts, and feelings, and they should be free from a dynamic of dominance. I talked about the power of friendship, and that every girl should have the ability to create and sustain nurturing friendships, and how they should appreciate that these support them when they need resilience. I talked about not being prescribed a pink world, but being able to decorate the colours of their world freely. And also looked at how self-worth shouldn't be measured in units of beauty determined by physical appearance, but ideally self-worth be measured in units of spirit and character, and that girls should see the leader within themselves and understand that they are not one thing, but multifaceted, unique, and special.
Thank you so much, Olivia, and thank you for letting me put you on the spot there to go through that again. And actually, we go into our 4 campaigns. Just about everything that you've said there feeds into our 4 campaigns. So when we look about representation of leadership and having greater representation of women within education leadership, we know it's still a major issue. About 78% of the global population in education is female, and yet we still remain around 40% of women leaders across the profession. There are the occasional country that's the exception, but it's a global issue. And actually, in some countries, it's got worse in the last couple of years. Not only that, but one of the areas, so obviously we want to focus on having more women leaders in education, and part of that is about realizing the potential of the profession itself. We also work really hard to try to affect a change to make sure that we have diversity, representation, and visibility in education leadership. And that comes down to, again, making sure that we have positive role models for our young people. I was just looking at some of the data before I came in. Anyone who knows me knows I love a bit of data. I'm a bit nerdy like that. You know, we look at the UK, what's the current figures? I was just looking at it today. 92.5% of heads in the UK identify as white British. And yet we're around a population of white British around 80%. You know, what does that look like when we look across Europe? What does that look like when we're looking at the Americas? And when we start to look globally, we see a major issue in terms of who our leaders are and who has the table. Who has the table? Well, maybe the table as well, the seat at the table where those decisions are being made, and how important it is that we have to have voices in the seats where decisions are being made. And we can't do that unless we have representation. So we want to do more work on that. We have seen changes, but nowhere near fast enough. And when we come to fast enough in changes, looking at the gender pay gap, this is obviously Vivian's bread and butter. I think it's one of your favourite things to explore. I don't know if it makes you happy, Vivian, but
it doesn't make me happy at all.
Doesn't make me happy either. And as you know, I was looking at the global data, and it's right across the world. We have a massive issue. I was just pulling up some data quickly. You know, in America, for women who've got postgraduate degrees, the pay gap is 30.29%. In the international education field, the field I'm in, so I'm from Switzerland, I'm living in Switzerland at the moment. In the international education sector, if you're a head teacher that just happens to be a woman, you get paid $25,000 less per year. Now, even worse, if you happen to be non-white and you're an international school head, you get paid $45,000 a year less. So this is not a country-specific issue. This is a global issue, and we have to do better. I was looking at the globally some of the improvements in the last couple of years to get even close to closing the pay gap. It's going to take us 40 years at the current rate. It's not acceptable, and we need to do better. We also know that in countries, developing countries, around 40% of educated women work in the profession. So being paid inequitably perpetuates inequity. And we have to really address this on a global scale as well as a local scale. And we'll talk more about that. I won't even get onto pensions, Vivian, because that might just push you over the edge. Advocating for flexible working practices. Yes, what we can do in Women Ed is shine a light on those examples that show it does work. That it's, yes, sometimes it can be difficult as school leaders, it can be tricksy, particularly with the complexity of our schools, tight budgets, access to the profession. If you're working internationally, like I work in the international sector, we don't just happen to have an English speaking member of staff that can teach in an English medium school down the road. How do you recruit for flexible practices when you have immigration rules and permits and all the rest of it? But you can. There's lots of different ways. And in Women Ed, we're really committed to try and look at what that looks like on a local level, a national level, and national levels across the world. So take a look at our website. LinkedIn as well is becoming increasingly popular. I have moved away from X. I'm just saying. I'm just going to leave it there. Kezia's leading the charge for Blue Sky for us, but you'll find all our social media information on our website. And we are going to continue to do this work and hopefully really start to make a change more than 40 years, because I think I might be, I don't know where I'll be in 40 years. Who knows? That's it, Vivian.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Wonderful, as always. Much appreciated. Could you move us on, Kezia? Right, we're going to go into a breakout session. We were going to give you 10 minutes, but we may have to chop that down a few minutes now. You can choose which room to go into. There are 4 rooms. Still need the PowerPoint, Kezia, if you could. Sorry to put you on the spot. So take a quick photo of that so you know what you're talking about in each room when you make that choice. Hopefully you've got that, or just do a pick and mix and just pick any one and head into it. I'm going to open the breakout rooms and you can choose. If you end up nowhere, just let us know and we will move you in. Are you moving into rooms? Yes? Why are some of you still here then? All
People
right,
may
keep
have
going.
to choose to join a room, which is down on the bottom right-hand corner. It says more, I think.
There are 4 squares, guys. If you just click on the 4 squares at the bottom of your screen, and then you've got rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a few people are already joining. If a few of you could join room 4, that one's quite empty at the moment, that would be great. That's excellent. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Is there
Is
anybody
it just
still?
us left?
Do we pick any
Just us?
room?
Yeah. Oh. Stop recording.
The idea being that we would grow it out into the other secondary schools as well. And I've had a lot of people come to me from secondary schools now asking about how this could translate into their year groups as well, because they're seeing actually that this starts a lot earlier than they assumed. It starts way before year 7. It tends to start at 7 years old. And unless we sort of catch that and prevent it from getting worse, that's why the confidence gap and things like that happens in year 6, because society has told them lots of things already. And with the added complication of social media as well, you're only ever seeing images of certain things as well, which compounds it. So yeah, a lot of work, but we'll get there.
Oh, I'm really inspired by that, Kieran. I really want to talk to you a bit more about it if you wouldn't mind. It sounds really interesting. I think, Kezia, we're quite restricted with time, so I don't think we can go into the other rooms, but I know that we've had lots of people add into the group. I think it was Virginia's group. I kind of caught the very end of your conversation and was really interested by what was going on there as well, but I think you might have added to the group, so thank you so much. And if we can continue to keep adding to that group, that would be fantastic, to the chats. One of the things that I really loved as I was going in and out of the rooms was people were saying, okay, let's connect afterwards, or let's have a chat about this further. And I just feel like this whole session has been about that for us today, and that's just amazing, and it's just lovely to see. So thank you all loads for that. Kezia, did you have anything else to?
I think that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much for that. I know we had some technical issues at the beginning. Like I said, we are being sort of attacked by the ghosts of our ancestors, who don't want us to connect this way. They want us to go out and have a cup of tea together. They want us to go back those 10 years and do that. So thank you for persisting with that. And it's always a privilege to hear people. And I suppose what myself and Natasha and Liz and a few others would do is we are head teachers at the moment, and actually, if you're thinking to yourself, I can't become a head teacher, well, frankly, if they let us lot do it, they'll sort of let anyone do it, particularly me. But headship is where you get to say, you know, you are accountable to people, but you get to set the agenda. You get to put the parameters in place, not just for yourself, but everybody else in the school. And that is a powerful advocacy. So, you know, don't give up, aim for it, because you are going to change worlds. So thank you very much for letting me listen to that. Vivian, do you want me to share again?
I would. We won't bother with the PowerPoint for now. What
Okay.
I'd like, because what I was going to say is what we'd like you to do now is our traditional 10% braver commitment. So as a result of this conversation and everything you'll be thinking about in terms of International Women's Day and the future for us, what are you committing to do? And Kezia is going to put a link in the chat. And if you could
have.
Thank you. And if you could put what you're committing to do into that link, then once we collect them all, we'll be able to share them with everybody, with all of you. We'll send them back to you all with everybody's words and everybody's commitments. which will inspire all of us to take those next steps. And we'll be looking forward to hearing what you've said, because it may very well influence all of the work we do as we head to our 10th birthday on May the 9th. So that's the next big goal for us in Women Ed. So what you put into that chat, we hope to be able to help you to achieve and influence that as we move forward. So can you put that into the link for us, please? And so grateful for your continued support and commitment and participation in this absolutely amazing global community. Thank you ever so much from all of us. And anyone else want to say a goodbye message?
I'll always say goodbye. It's not goodbye, it's au revoir. And I don't even know what that means. I'm guessing it just means I'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for persevering with us. And thank you for helping us accelerate that change.
Lisa?
Thank you for joining me. When I first got up, it was 4:30 in the morning, and I will be going back to bed shortly after this. But I do encourage you to believe your existence is the resistance.
And Lisa's done a brilliant blog on that. Have a look on Blue Sky to see it. It's brilliant. Anyone else want to say anything to finish? Oh, thank you for the reactions, Kezia.
So just a goodbye and thank you for including me, and thank you in those groups for sharing your vulnerabilities and connecting. Thank you.
Lovely, Olivia. Keep putting things in the Padlet and we'll share them all with everybody. Okay. Thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and keep celebrating the power and the amazing strength of the women in this community. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivian. Lovely to